Hey, welcome to another podcast for today. Jonathan Myers talking over here. Today we're going to go over a few things on how to help you guys reach out to your ideal prospects. So if you're somebody that's actually struggling to set appointments or you're struggling to get in front of the decision maker or find out who exactly it is that you're trying to talk to, or even just setting the appointments in general, you don't know how to do it, you don't know the process of it, you're just kind of winging it, then this will be perfect for you. Now, you're gonna have to actually go in there and do some research, do some homework. It's not gonna do itself, and this is going to be one of the longest processes that you actually do for your business. The first step, and I always tell everybody this, and this is something I freaking talk about all the time, but nobody really wants to sit there and kind of just sit there and think about who it is they want to sell to. They just kind of wing it on the top of their head, like, oh yeah, I want to sell to consumers that are looking for jewelry or consumers that want to know how to make more money. It's like, okay, that's great, that's fine and dandy, but you need to get way more detailed than that. So, step one is you want to identify your ideal prospect profile. Now, what that is you want to actually make sure you know who it is you're reaching out to. Sure, it might be a digital marketing agency that you're reaching out to, but is it going to be all digital marketing agencies, or are they going to have a specialty they do? Do they do e-com, or are they digital marketing agencies specifically for jewelers? Figure something out. The more narrowed in you are, the better, because you're going to be able to relate, talk to them, and speak to them and resonate with them. So the next part of that process is you're going to have to figure out the size. What can you handle? What can you not handle? And also, how high are your ticket packages? If they're anywhere from 2,500 and above, you're not going to be able to do much deal or many deals with somebody who's just a solopreneur. Like, occasionally you'll find them, but most solopreneurs don't have the ability, first off, to handle an influx of, let's say you're doing appointment setting like we do. They're not going to be able to handle the influx of the appointment settings. They're alone. They're doing everything themselves. It's a huge workload to do things like that. Then the other thing is they probably won't have the funds. They're not going to be able to easily just drop 25 to 3,500 per month every month for the next 3 or 4 months. Obviously, you're going to be generating more ROI off of it. You would think that would help out, but one thing I like to look at, and this doesn't ring true for everybody, but most solopreneurs out there, they're solopreneurs for a reason. It's usually because they don't know how to set up systems. They don't know how to move forward. And a lot of them are terrible with money. They don't know how to reinvest back in business. Therefore, they don't have a lot of money sitting on the side. The money they do make in the business, they end up going to spend. Now, again, this does not resonate for all solopreneurs. There are a lot of successful solopreneurs out there, a lot of very successful ones. Now, so identify who they are, figure out what kind of headcount that you're going to need within their company. What I like to start off with on people that are just starting out, anywhere from 2 to 10 is fine. 11 to 50 is even better. Don't just go for the bigger numbers. The bigger numbers are not always the best. If you're going to go from, like, let's say a 500 plus company, you are going to need to be able to have certain standards in place, proof of records in regards to case studies. Now, the other thing as well is most of the companies that are huge already, depending on what you're selling, most of them already have systems in place to handle if you're doing B2B business. Now, again, it just depends what you're offering. I know for what we do, most companies have they already have lead generation going on, sales, marketing teams within their own company. And again, we can go in and, show them up, I'm sure, but just going through that entire process for anywhere from 2,500 to 3,500 a month, even 4,500 a month, it's not always, I'm not going to say it's not worth it. It is, but for those big businesses to get through that decision, it's probably going to be at least a 1 month process on making that decision for them to decide, okay, yeah, we're going to let you guys come on in. And the other thing you have to think about is just to get set up for it is going to be even longer, because now they have all these systems already set up in place. So now they're going to have to learn how to integrate us within their system. So the onboarding might be even longer. So it could be anywhere from 3 to 4 months that you're looking at just to get set with somebody you've already closed on and get doing business. If you're doing something like, again, like what we do. Now, if you're just doing some sort of training or some sort of mentoring or coaching, that's a little different. But, all day long, go out there and do that. Again, what I'm about to tell you today, or what I am currently telling you even, it's not set in stone for everybody. You got to think about what's good for you. For me specifically, I can't reach out to not that I can't, I shouldn't reach out to the 500 plus businesses unless I want to be willing to wait for a couple months just to make a process to go through. I'd rather, go for the easy cake and just, okay, here you go, 3,500, okay, you're a small company, we'll help you out, blah, blah, blah. So we know who the target market who you're trying to reach out. Are they going to be e-com? Are they going to be B2B, B2C? You know, what's the headcount going to be that you're going to look at? Obviously, if you're doing consumer, it's going to more than likely be one because they're not a business. But and then you're going to have to look at the area, the geographic location. Do you want it to be U.S. based? Do you want it to be Canada? Do you want it to be U.K., Australia? Everything matters in that. You can't just choose everybody. For instance, digital marketing in Australia is huge in regards to it's just booming over there. There aren't so for those of you that are going to do digital marketing, it's a good place to hit up because there's not many digital marketers out there. I mean, there's a lot, don't get me wrong, but it's easier to do the experience over there. Their rules are different. The people there, I don't know, I can't explain it, but every time we talk to them, it's a very easy close. It's a very easy process with them. They're very, I'm not going to say they're behind either on the technology because they're not, but it's just simpler. It's really hard to explain. But anyways, so you got to think about the geographic location. The other thing you have to think about is the revenue. You're going to be able to determine the revenue that they're doing by the head count of their actual business size. Now, again, you don't always want to go for the top business out there, the one that has the most companies or the most employees and people under them, but you still want to go for one that's going to be able to best suit the price label that you have. Again, you don't want to undercut yourself and try to sell something that's like $500,000 to somebody who can only afford $200,000 or $100,000. Now, the next best thing as well to look for, because this is not going to matter. If you're outreaching to people and you're not getting to the right person, then you can have the most perfect script, the most perfect outreach in regards to offer, service, whatever. If you don't have the title right, you're just going to, there's no point because you're not going to get in the hands of the decision maker yet. And not all people will deliver you to the decision maker. So occasionally you'll have somebody be like, hey, this is more suited for Joe Schmo over here, so we're going to pass you to him. So, okay, cool, awesome. And passing is not bad all the time, okay, because sometimes people will pass you up to the proper person you need to speak with. And there's times they'll pass you down too, so prepare for both of them. But you have to know who you need to talk to. Do you need to talk to the director of marketing, the VP of marketing, director of sales, VP of sales, or are you going to talk to the janitor? I mean, if you're a B2C or you're somebody for the individual selling and you're going to sell something that's going to help the janitor, then sure, go for the janitor. But otherwise, if you're trying to sell something that's going to have to do with the marketing, sales, or anything that affects the company, you're going to want to go as high as you possibly can, all the way up to possibly the founder. Now, again, if you're doing the big company, it's like 500 plus, or even 200, sometimes even 50, hell. It's going to be very difficult to get hold of the CEO or founder. So you got to work as high as you can. Always shoot for the highest, but again, make sure you have contingency. Like, okay, we're going to also try to talk to the vice president of this and the president of that. We're also going to try to talk to the director of sales or director of marketing. So make sure you have your backup and you're reaching out to all of them. And they'll point you in the right direction. But again, make sure it's going to be pertinent to your field. Again, I'm not going to talk to, with us doing lead generation, our job is to help the marketing team. So we're not going to go and talk to the sales directly all the time. Sometimes we end up getting passed down to the sales. But indirectly, we're a sales team. And, indirectly, we're also a marketing team. So the way we're doing things with lead generation, you can either talk to either or. They're both really good to talk to. However, now let's just say, you're doing some sales training. Then I would not talk to the marketing team. I would definitely talk to the VP of sales, the director of sales. So again, kind of gear yourself towards the direction you need to go for. Once you have your IPP all labeled out, you're going to want to actually move forward and create a value proposition. What is it you're offering? How have you helped other people? If you haven't helped other people, how do you think you can help other people? Because you're going to need some sort of proof and information, case studies, if you will, to be able to do this part. As an example, some things that we'll say is we've helped XYZ agency build up to 25 meetings in a little over 2 months, ended up closing out of 25 of those appointments, they ended up closing on 9 clients, increasing anywhere from deal sizes between 75K to 115K on annual contracts. Then obviously you'll go from there, like, would love to do the same for you, blah, 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 and finish off short, sweet, not salesy at all, just telling you how you've helped somebody. That's all you're doing. So once you have your value proposition down, you have to figure out how you've helped somebody else, how you can help them, how this company relates to them, and how you plan on actually being able to help that specific company. So Once you have that down, that's going to be one of your key pitches. You're not throwing that out right away. Nobody wants to hear a pitch right away. So, but this is something you have to make, because as you're making your scripts, which yes, you have to make scripts. If you're not going to make a script and you're just going to wing it, you're not going to be able to tell what's working the best for you. But once you have your value proposition, you're then going to be able to generate a script. And once you get that script written down, on your second script, you're going to definitely put the value proposition in there. The first script's going to be like, hey, just, wanted to connect, see if we're both in the same sandbox, or hey, wanted to connect, like connecting with like-minded individuals. Hey, just wanted to connect. Saw that we both work with digital marketing agencies, or anything that kind of shows a sort of relation is what you want to connect. Or hey, just I loved your post. I wanted to connect so I could see more. Anything like that. It's fantastic. Just connect with them. Second message, or I should say it's technically your first message. That's your connection message. Your first actual message is just going to be like, hey, thanks for the connection. I'm with the sales and prospecting agency. We love to go out there and help people generate more opportunities in their pipeline, providing high value appointments. Just wanted to say hi. Nothing. I didn't want to pitch anything or anything like that. Just coming in to say hi. Looking forward to seeing you on my news feed. Have a great day. That's it. Short, sweet, blah, blah, blah. Very personal. They love it. And then your second message, you've already buttered them up, you've already warmed them up, and even better, in the first message, you can even add something personal, like, hey, I saw this other post that you did, totally love the ideology behind your marketing tactics, especially rule number 3, totally fantastic there. You add that in your message, again, you've really buttered them up now. So by the time you hit them with your second message, don't butter them up too much. You do it too much, it's definitely going to seem obvious you're prepping them for something. So just a little compliment, like, hey, you're doing great things over there at XYZ company. Awesome. Something, just anything like that, short and sweet. And then your second message comes into play where you're going to throw in your value proposition, like, hey, Joe, I saw that you're involved in this heavily, doing some great things over there. We wanted to tell you that, we've recently helped XYZ agency book 25 qualified appointments within 2 months. Out of those 25, they closed on 9 clients. Deal sizes ranging anywhere from $75K to $115K with design projects, content creation, XYZ Co. Blah, blah, blah. Would love to do the same for you. Are you open for a call sometime this week? Or is there any other, can I provide you some more information? Or can we discuss this further? Or would you like to hear more about this? Or, something like a question that's going to allow you to find out if they want to move forward. That's what you want to do. Would love to talk to you further. Are you open to speak this week? Do you have time to talk in the next couple of days? A short little 20-minute conversation about how we can help XYZ Co. do the same. Anything like that. So that's going to be your second actual message. So again, so far we have your connection message. So far we have your first after message. Then you have your second message. And, your third message is just going to be just a simple bump up. Like, hey, just wanted to bump this up. Make sure that it didn't get buried in your inbox, whatever it is. So nothing fancy, nothing crazy, just a bump up. Because it happens. People bump things up, and there's been plenty of times we've had significant results where we just bump something up, and they're like, oh, hey, yeah, I didn't see this. Like a few minutes ago, I actually scheduled an appointment because of that. And they didn't see the message. I bumped it up. They're like, bump up. What was it? He's been talking to me. Like, huh. He looks at, oh, that's actually interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm interested. So yeah, do something like that. Now, when you're doing these, don't automate it all the time. I know automation's out there. It's a great tool to utilize. It's very tempting. But show that you actually care about the company. Show that you're going to show enough respect for them that you're going to actually personally write something in there. That's what I like to do. I like to do a hybrid course or hybrid sort of way of outreach. Like, I'll get some tools to help me out on generating things so I don't have to keep typing the same thing all the time in regards to like value propositions, things like that. But I'm going to add my own personal stuff in there that I actually feel is relatable, something that I actually enjoyed about them. And so it's very real. It's not a complete automated tactic. I just have help generating some stuff with it. Hope that makes sense. So again, so you're creating your value proposition, you're creating your message scripts. You're also already having a good offer at this point. At least you should. Now, one thing you can do at the end as well, I usually do this on my second or third message as well. It depends on the response rates of things. Like, hey, just to kind of show you our best practices of prospecting, I'd love to send you a complimentary prospecting list of 15 to 20 prospects of decision makers completely on the house. Would you be open for doing that? Or would you be open for us making that for your team? Anything like that. And what will happen at that point is a lot of people will respond. And your thought process, most people who are doing this, their first thought process when they're first starting out on this kind of offer, they're like, oh, I don't want to make a list for everybody for free. Don't worry about it, okay? Because most of the time, the companies end up either forgetting about it or they get so intrigued that they don't even care about it anymore if your offer is actually really good. So as an example, when that happens and they reply, yeah, that'd be great. I'd go ahead and send that over. What I then do is do something else in a reply because they're showing their interest. They're showing they're already needing a prospect list, which is showing somewhere in there in the back of their mind. It told them we need some other quality appointments coming in. Let's see what they have. And even if they are just going for a freebie, it's still showing people who are wanting freebies, it's because they need something. So at that point, I'll be like, yeah, definitely. Let's go ahead and schedule a time because I need to get to know exactly more about your company in order to give you the best prospecting list experience. I need to find out some details that will help me custom tailor this list specifically for what it is that you look, specifically for the ideal client profile you have. And, at that point, so you end up just saying, what times are you available for a quick 5-10 minute discussion? Again, it's just over the prospecting list in their mind. You schedule a call, get on that call, and you start talking to them. You're like, hey, you bring up the whole LinkedIn thing. And it never usually lasts 5 to 10 minutes because they get so intrigued with what you have to say. You're on the call already with them. They want to provide the information that you need to make that list. But by the time you throw them what you do, if you're doing your actual discovery call correctly, if you're 2-call close and you're doing it correctly, you basically hook them in to the point where you're all the way at the end and you find out everything you need to about the disqualification part if they're even able to move forward. If they're not, then just, shoot them the prospect list. But if they are able to move forward, then you should be setting them up for a scheduled appointment with a presentation, with information about what you do, more case studies, which they're going to be all about that at that point. And then the prospecting list is usually out in the wind at that point. They don't even think about it anymore. And what I like to do, though, is just for good measures and good faith of what I said I was going to do, I still send it to them, as long as I'm not getting too swamped. If I'm getting super swamped and I forget about it, I'm human, my bad. But, obviously, if they bring it up as well. Definitely if they bring it up. So anyway, so you're creating that offer, you're constructing your scripts. Your script should be anywhere from 3 to 4 outreach because you don't spam people. People hate being spammed. If they don't respond within 3 to 4 times, move on. Now, again, we're only focusing on one platform. So if you're doing multiple platforms, you're going to have many, many, many different touches. But for those of you that are wanting to just do quick, fast, good business, just anywhere from 3 or 4 times, make sure they get the message. They don't respond, they don't reply, move on because you're just trying to get business flowing in. Now, once you start incorporating other platforms, you're going to do the same thing with those in addition, 3 or 4 times for those platforms, sometimes even more depending what that platform is. So it's definitely, you're going to be hitting them anywhere from 20 to 30 times touch points, different touch points. That's including all the platforms you're reaching out. Once you get to that level, once you're able to do that level. Because if you do, okay, I think this thing skipped. So what I was saying is don't try to use all the platforms that you can think of at one time on your own. Start off, master one, get it good, designate it to a partner, designate it to an employee, designate it to somebody where you can train them how to do it, and then move on to a new one and repeat this process over and over and over. Because if you try doing them all at one time, you're going to be so scattered brain and you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to get so deterred and so frustrated because you're not going to see any results. If you focus on one and you start seeing a lot of results, great. Stick with it. Okay, so that's down. Now, when you're reaching out, you do need to have a top 50 list. At the minimum, you can have 20 if you want, but I recommend having 50. Because if you have 50 new prospects that you're reaching out to each week, then you're going to get some replies, you're going to set some appointments, and you're going to do very good. Well, I'm not say very good, but you're going to do decent. Now, it all depends on how your scripts are going and things like that. Again, with the whole thing is, if you can do more, definitely do more. 50 is just the minimum. But if you're a solopreneur, you're on your own, you don't have that much time in the world, at least you're doing something every week. 50 every week, okay, cool. What is highly recommended? Anywhere from 200 to 500 a week. So there you go. If you have the manpower to do that, if you have the capacity to do that, then that's what is definitely recommended for a business to grow is 200 to 500. 50 a week will help get you that sustenance that's going to basically help you maintain, get a client every couple. You're not going to get a client every week by any means, but you'll get a few clients within the month. So that'll help you out in that regard. Now, just ultimately reach out to them. That's it. Just reach out. Consistently reach out using that script. Test and tweak that script over and over and over and over and over. Okay? So we're going to do a recap from square one. Identify your IPP. Then you're going to end up creating a value proposition based on your IPP. You have to know who your audience is. You have to know who your target is first. Then create your value proposition. How can you help them? How have you helped other people? How can you bring that same effect to them? Then you're going to create what you call an offer that you can use in one of your scripts. And that goes something pertaining to what it is they do. Like, hey, I'd love to provide you a prospecting list of 15 or more based on your ideal client profile. Or, hey, I'd love to send you an outline of how we design our construction buildings over here using the material we use and showing you a quick video, or giving you a quick video that shows how it can actually benefit and save you money in the long run from constant damages coming through over time. Something like that. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just something that's going to benefit them. Then you're going to construct your scripts. Construct all your scripts, look at them, read them out loud, read them to somebody, see what they say, tweak them. Then you're going to build your top 50 list of the people you're actually going to reach out to based on your IPP. Then you're going to reach out to them. And then you're going to test and tweak according to the responses you get or responses that you don't get. If you're not getting any responses, clearly it's not captivating. So change something. If you're doing email, change the subject line. If you're doing a LinkedIn messaging, change the first part of your sentences. If you're doing text message marketing, if you're doing Facebook, again, the first line of your sentences. Those are crucial every time. Also, you might be being too salesy or maybe they're too long. Do not write a 10-page paper to somebody. Nobody wants to read that on the first meeting. You have to earn that right. And even then, even when people I know, they message me 10-page papers, I don't want to read them. But yeah, so do that. Follow through. Long podcast. Basically, if you have any questions over this whatsoever, feel free to message me. Again, you can find me on LinkedIn at Jonathan or the Jonathan Myers at LinkedIn. And then you can also find me on Facebook, facebook.com/the Jonathan Myers, TheJonathanMeyers is the last name. You just have to spell it like that because people end up thinking I'm not saying E when I'm like M-E-Y. It's like, oh, there's no E. It's like, yes, there is an E. It just kind of blends in with the M. But follow me for some more information. I'm posting some good stuff out here. Everybody have a great day. Stay safe. Have fun. Go crush some business goals.